Well, good morning, folks. I guess it pretty much looks like I haven't changed since last night. Well, I have changed my jocks and the t-shirt, but yeah, the wind cheater is still the same. Although hopefully won't have much need for it for much longer today. What a night last night turned out to be. We had a bit of an emergency. We needed to get to Bunnings before they closed. Unfortunately, when we got there, the part that we wanted was actually closed, the trade area, and then we had to find our way in and out of there. Got to say, some pretty spectacular driving and towing and backing going on last night, but we had a few things we had to go and get, not just at Bunnings, and it wound up, didn't get back onto the property until about 9 o'clock, thereabouts last night, with a very full, large trailer, and now we've got to go and unload it all, which will be a bit of fun. I'm pretty good at unloading, as you can guess. I can park the trailer and direct from there. But anyway, we'll fix our little disaster today, and it'll all be all good. We've got a big weekend of things happening on the property this weekend, so I want to make sure that the place is looking good. And that meant that by the time I got home last night and did what I needed to do, I figured you'd all be in bed. So I joined you, so to speak. And I've got to say, I had the best night's sleep I've had since I did my wrist. I had my best night's sleep. When I whacked this thing the other day on the car, I thought I'd done a lot more damage to it, but turns out I was just being a sook, probably. Don't know that that's completely right, but I've woken up today and the wrist has felt the best it's felt since it happened. And it actually feels quite strong. How do you measure how strong your wrist feels? Well, I can take this Exos thing off and give the arm a good scratch and wash and all that sort of stuff. And I did that this morning, very early. It's much less painful now to remove, I guess is the best way to describe that. And as long as I don't tweak it in the wrong direction, it seems to be okay. So today, feeling very strong with that arm. Not going to go out and lift anything with it, but feeling very strong. Also been having a little bit of a look at overnight issues, if you like, you want to call them issues, that are coming out of America. There are quite a lot of them, and a lot of them are military-based. If you're not familiar with MonkeyWorks, it's worthwhile familiarizing yourselves with MonkeyWorks. He does a very in-depth sit-rep, usually just about every day, where he tracks military aircraft and where they're going and what they're doing around the world. Well, what they're doing is surmised. But if you have a lot of aerial refuelers up in a certain area, it generally means that there's a lot of jets in that area, because fighters tend to go through fuel pretty quick and they need refueling. A lot of that has been seen recently in areas not you wouldn't ordinarily expect to see them. There is also the crisis, if you want to call it that, of the long-range weapon systems that the Yanks have given the green light to Ukraine to use, and apparently they have. Now, there might be a hint for us in the name of this weapon systems that they're using. It's called an ATACMS system. Now, I know the Army loves acronyms. All defence forces love acronyms. But ATACMS? I have no doubt they are missiles and they will blow up and hurt people if you fire them in the right place, but that doesn't appear to have been happening either. Where these... And look, if you're reading the mainstream media, and I urge you not to, if you're reading the mainstream media, they're going to be telling you that Biden has greenlit the use of long-range missile systems by the Ukraine so they can strike Moscow. Now, they say that in just about every news report I've seen. These weapon systems, the ATACMS system, unless they move it a lot further into Russia, is not capable of reaching Moscow. It is capable of reaching other areas, and if you listen to what the Russians have to say about the most recent attack, there were 6 missiles fired and 5 of them were shot down. There was some footage yesterday of a mushroom cloud type explosion. The fellow who was playing that footage was saying that it was at a similar base, or in fact even the same base as the one that the Ukrainians hit in Russia a little while back. Funnily enough, it looked like the same mushroom cloud as well. No bigger, no smaller, took the same size, the same time to grow. I'm thinking they're just reusing the same old footage and trying to, bluster up the idea that they're actually doing some damage to Russia. Let's be serious, folks. Who in their right mind, even with NATO's help, who in their right mind is going to say that Ukraine is going to beat Russia in anything except maybe a table tennis game? There is no way Ukraine is going to win a war with Russia. There is no way that NATO will be allowed to help win a war for Ukraine against Russia. And of course, we know that the corrupt bastards in NATO are working very hard to do just that, a third world war that will be left for Donald Trump to figure out once he gets into office. And that's not the only Easter egg they're giving him. We call them Easter eggs because they're left in programs and little surprises that pop up. Well, a lot more of those little surprises are going to pop up. At the moment, the US military are making a lot of flights into Germany, into the Ramstein Air Force Base in Germany. Now, you would say that they are taking over weapon systems, ammunition, all that kind of thing, but they are not coming back empty. They're coming back filled with Middle Eastern, I was going to say asylum seekers, but that's not the case. They're not seeking asylum, they're immigrants, and they're being flown directly into US Air Force bases and then bussed out of there to wherever in the States they want them to go. This is what's happening right across America, from the southern border to the northern border. And in fact, it doesn't even have to happen at the border. The American border czars have arranged flights for people from inside Mexico, different places and parts of Mexico. And those flights just get on, fly over the border, get off, and they'll take you to a hotel where somebody will look after you. You'll get a room, you'll get whatever paperwork you require, and then you'll get moved on to the next state or wherever it is that you want to go. You're given that opportunity. We showed a bit of vision from inside one of these New York hotels, hosting one of these, a lot of these immigrants, not all that long ago. And that was the deal. You walk down to the concierge desk and tell them where you wanted to go and live in America. They would organize a plane, bus or train ticket for you to get there, and set up your housing and everything else. Same kind of things happening. And of course, we are seeing more migrant intake into Australia from the illegal boat people who've started up again in Indonesia because Labor are so weak on border security here in Australia that I'm amazed we still have our own bloody country in any way, shape or form. It's just a very, very, very sad state of affairs. I've just pulled up back on the property and our electric gates aren't working. Remind me to tell you about contractors. And if you are looking for an electric gate installer on the Gold Coast, do not arrange one until you talk to me, because you don't want the bloke that's done our gates. Our gate is still not working. I think it's probably 2 months after being put in, all because this bloke couldn't figure out where to put the solar panel to get enough light. And I've just got to say good morning to somebody on the way past. Hey, buddy, how are you? Just be quiet. I'm careful. I'm doing a live, so if you swear, you'll be heard. I don't mind. You can say shit and park and all those sorts of things.
TikTok?
Yeah, YouTube live.
Oh, YouTube live. What's your handles?
The Voice of Freedom.
The Voice of Freedom.
Yeah.
And you know where we are?
In
paradise.
Exactly. That's why I live here.
Everyone on the channel.
Yep. Well, hang on. I'll take you out and you can all meet Novak.
Hey, everyone. Everyone in the channel, you have never woke up in a better, more comfortable place. I am so happy. I've been here 2 weeks now.
Yeah, right.
And best time of my life, guys. You need to join it.
Excellent. You're off to work early? Oh, no, not late this morning.
No, I'm annual leave for the next 2 days. I'm setting up the solar system properly.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, great. Well, not a great day to set up solar, but...
No, but I set it up, and one of the bad box wires actually was faulty on it, so I
right.
back and then come back with some more solar.
Well, if you figure it out, maybe we can get you to come back and help us with the gate, because the guy who installs it doesn't have the vaguest idea on what he's doing.
I know, because it was working and then it wasn't.
Yeah.
It wasn't.
Absolutely.
Well, I'll see you soon.
All right, have a good one, mate. Good to see you settled in. So there you go, one of our happy, I was going to say happy campers, but they're more like happy residents. No camping around here anymore. And I'll put that out too, folks. The campgrounds here are being closed for renovation. So you won't be able to come and camp here for a little bit because we're renovating. Pardon me, I've got to close the gate. Right. If we had an electric gate that worked, wouldn't have to interrupt it like that. Yeah, if you are looking for a gate installer on the Gold Coast, get a hold of me and I'll tell you who to avoid, because we are desperately unhappy with the service that's been provided, and if things don't change rapidly, I will start telling you all about them. Because we don't want people like that running around in business, ripping people off. And that's essentially what's been happening here. Pretty disappointed with the whole system and the way it's gone down. But anyway, that's for another day. Today, well, keep an eye on Anthony Albanese today. And I'm hearing from a couple of different quarters. I had a quick conversation with Guru yesterday. We were talking about this, that while there is an opportunity at the moment that we can fall into a false sense of security regarding the mis- and disinformation bill, we've heard the likes of Jackie Lambie and others, Pocock and a few others, who ostensibly have said, no, I'm not going to vote for it, I'm going to vote against it, which has given the no side the numbers in this vote. But it only happens if these people turn up to vote. All right? Now, we know the Senate in particular, and Katie Gallagher is a classic example of this. Senator Gallagher introduced the mis- and disinformation bill first in the Senate, and then didn't bother coming back to vote on it because they knew they had the numbers. She didn't have to be there for it. Didn't have to put her name to it, and therefore can't be blamed for it, I suppose. Well, she can be. We will hold these people accountable. Now, while Jackie Lambie says, oh, I'm going to vote no, it might be her intention at the moment, but she's actually got to get into the House or into the Senate to vote. Now, that vote, I believe, is coming up in a few days' time. How do we guarantee that these senators turn up and vote? Now, we can't guarantee that they're going to vote the way we want them to, but what do we do to those senators that don't turn up to vote, that said that they would be a no vote and don't turn up to the chamber to vote, which would lead us to lose the vote and the mis and disinformation bill getting passed. Those senators are traitorous. So I would suggest and ask you humbly, if you could, to, and you've probably already written to these senators demanding that they vote no, you need to write another letter to these senators demanding that they actually turn up to the vote and vote no. Because this will be the loophole. Oh, I got COVID. I couldn't go that day. Oh, something else happened. Oh, something this happened. Oh, I've got an excuse. I couldn't be there. This vote is far too important to the people of Australia that unless you have a broken back and are in hospital, every senator needs to be in that chamber voting. So please write to your senators and say, look, it's great that you've articulated that you will vote no for the mis and disinformation bill, but will you give us a guarantee that you will turn up to the chambers and actually vote? The likes of Jackie Lambie, and I don't know, maybe others, I feel that the people who are more apt to screw the people are from the major parties, not the minor ones. However, Lambie has form, and she's screwed the people before, and then amongst them, she's screwed those who she's worked closest with in the military, sadly. So I hope that she is woman enough to stand by her word to vote no and actually make it to the Senate to vote no, along with all the other senators that have stuck their hand up and said, no, we can't have that. And hopefully a few more that will join in. But please, write to your senators and tell them that it's not good enough to tell me you're going to vote no. You must give us a guarantee that you will be in the chambers when the vote is called and you will vote. We are not going to have this passed because those that said they were going to protect the Australian people from this bill got a cold or found some other excuse not to turn up on the day. That's the serious issue we're facing with this bill. And they're talking up now the social media bill, which I think is as, if not as dangerous, it is more dangerous than the mis and disinformation bill. Because if they can brainwash our children from 5 to 16 years of age without letting them get access to differing ideas, differing opinions, and differing proof, then it won't matter once those kids reach 16, they will be so brainwashed it won't matter what happens on social media, won't matter like what people like me or others say. We will be ingrained, and it will be those kids that hang us from the light poles because they will refuse to put up with it because they've gained all the knowledge they needed to in those years from 5 to 16 where they were fully indoctrinated. That's something we need to be very, very careful of. All right, folks, I'm going to head off and start into the day. Hopefully it won't be a huge day today, and I'll have a show tonight. We are having a few power issues here at the moment too. As you've just heard with Novak, he's installing a solar system. So we live off-grid here. Everything is off-grid, including the power, funnily enough. We've been on reduced solar generation for the last few days because it's been abhorrent weather, absolutely persistently precipitating. We have access to a very good, or I've got access to a very good solar system and batteries, but in the last few days we've had the generator on that system needing to fire up, 4 or 5 times. We're not getting the amount of solar generation out of it that we require, and that's even just for one house, not one house, 2 caravans, a bus, and whatever else. It's just for one house. So when I plug the bus in, it does put an extra drain on it, which is quite significant. So the last few days, it's basically down to generator power, and I'm down to a trickle of fuel in my fuel tank. My generator runs off my main fuel tank. So we'll see how long the power lasts, and hopefully we get a few bucks in. I'll go and buy a few jerry cans of fuel, and we'll fire up the Jenny on the bus and keep going. But yeah, the solar is a very interesting thing, and it works really well when it's sunny. But we've had 4 days where we haven't been able to get the thing charged up beyond 75%, and if I turn the bus on, it won't even charge to that, as I drag more, or I draw more than it charges at the time. So, and I'm buggered if I know why that is, because really there is only a fridge and a computer that is working in the bus that draws power. But anyway, we'll see what happens. Maybe I had my kettle on at the time when we did the test. Whatever you're doing today, folks, be safe doing it, and be safe on the roads. Last night, we see them all the time, but last night I had a standout dickhead on the road. A standout dickhead on the road. This fella decided that because the roads were quite wet, he could slide, drift, spin, do whatever the hell he wanted, wherever the hell he wanted, and did manage to, in showing off, tramped on his accelerator. This is on the M1, major bit of road between Brisbane and the Gold Coast. Well, Brisbane and the border, let's say, because I was closer down to the border last night. This idiot has tramped on his throttle, sent the car fishtailing, and then couldn't control it. Has looped the car 360 degrees, and I think scared the shit out of himself, and then quietly kept going at a much slower rate. I passed him towing a 3.5-ton trailer with a whole heap of stuff on it, and I was only doing about 80 at that stage. So those dickheads on the roads, folks, they are absolutely everywhere. They do provide us a bit of entertainment now and again, but best not to be too close to them while they're doing it. Have yourself a good day. Love you all. We'll talk soon.